what's going on, everybody? Dale Valor's Inner Game Podcast back again. It's the incredible. And so, look, man, I'm really excited about this one. I've got somebody coming on that is not only one of the best female dating coaches out there, but she is one of the best dating coaches in general across the board. And even more than that, man, like I'm just honored and privileged to be able to call her a friend of mine and a sister in arms. I guess I'm the brother in this dynamic, but either way, I'm glad to be coaching with her with modern flirting and everything. So she's gonna be hopping on here shortly, but I don't have my right-hand man, my confidant, Shabam, here today because we had to do this at a very awkward hour, and time zones and things like that are a thing. And me being in Detroit and him being in India can pose some timing problems from time to time, but it is what it is. We're going to push forward. We're going to do it anyway. And I'm really, really, really hoping that I'm able to get this one in because it is storming like crazy. And I've already seen my lights kind of going in and out and stuff like that. And, so anytime the power could just be like, bam, and done, so I'm hoping that we're able to get this one in, squeeze it in before there's any type of issues, if there are any. And so once she hops in, we'll really get it rolling. But just a little bit about Jamie Date, and that's who's coming on with me. She is a social media and online dating expert, as well as female psychology, but she just put out a new book as a professional catfish, and really helping guys level up their game when it comes to dating apps, online dating, how to communicate through that, like the texting part of it, just really getting your profile where it needs to be so as that you can attract the type of women into your life, right? And I'm just so happy that she's coming on with me. And as soon as she jumps on, I'll get her on and we'll get it popping. But for those of you who are regular listeners to this podcast, welcome back. For those of you who are new to this podcast, welcome. And I hope you become a regular listener to this podcast. And if there's anything that you want me to cover, any topics you want me to break down, any guests that you want me to bring on, let me know. Yeah, I'm easy to get at. All you got to do is shoot me an email, send me a DM, drop me a comment, and it's all you, right? So some of you might be asking, what is inner game? Inner game is the relationship that you have with you. And if all the relationships in your life suffer, in large part, is probably because the relationship with yourself isn't all that great, man. And so that's in large part what we talk about in this podcast is leveling that up, confidence, self-esteem, setting boundaries, getting out of your own head, getting out of your own way, just being in the moment more, self-amusement, all those types of things. And overcoming adversity as well is a big portion of this podcast. If you haven't seen some of the previous podcasts I've done with some people who've overcame some tremendous adversity, I highly encourage you to check those out. It's truly inspirational and truly motivating. And so, yeah, I mean, I definitely think it's something that would be essential to your life in seeing the types of adversity that people can get over. And what does that demonstrate? It demonstrates that you as an individual can do that too, because the people that I'm talking to, they don't have superpowers. They don't have any kind of crazy gifts or something like that. What they do have, though, is strong inner game. And that's what I'm trying to get you to. And so if you have any questions directed at that, by all means, let me know, and I'm happy to talk it out with you. And speaking of which, my new book, Inner Game, is now available for pre-orders in paperback and on Kindle. So, look, man, I go super deep in that book, and I'm giving you example after example after example, and action step after action step after action step on how to strengthen your inner game to make that relationship with you as strong as possible and as good as it can be. So I'm going to put the link down below. All you got to do is click that link, check it out, see if it's for you. If it's not, that's okay too. But I do think that there's going to be quite a few gems out of that book that you can take from it, start applying to your own life, and start really making the types of relationships in your life that you want to have. And here is Jamie. I'm going to let her in now. All right, here we go. All right. All right, Jamie, what's up?
Good. Hold on.
There she is.
Hi. How are you?
I like that logo in the corner.
Thank you.
I see. You're not even actually in that room.
I know, which is why I want it. Only like looks real if I have good lighting, which is what I'm trying to do right now. But there's no. Hold on. I think I'm gonna have to just change around this room real quick. How are you?
You're you're literally walking around. Okay, got you. All right. Well, hopefully, speaking of lighting, hopefully we get this in because it just started storming like crazy, thunderclaps, all that kind of stuff, lightning, and I was seeing my lights kind of go, you know, and so hopefully my power doesn't go out because it's coming down like crazy outside right now.
Is it? Oh, fuck. It's like Florida, dude. Florida. Well, I'm getting used to like, I was going for a quick run with my boyfriend's dog who I'm at his house right now and not a dog person. So I'm getting used to that whole thing. Although he's very cute, but he's a puppy. Anyway, long story short, in Florida, if you go outside for any sort of fucking 5 minutes, I was like, oh, I need a shower now because I just sweated through all of my clothes. Ridiculous.
I'm familiar, and I'll even be more familiar because I'm moving down there in like a month, so a month or two.
Oh, that's right. You're moving to Tampa, aren't you?
Yeah. Yep.
That's awesome. Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
So I just gave you the best introduction money can buy, so I'll cash that check later.
Yeah. Exactly. Perfect.
All right.
I think that
we got it.
AirPods are better for microphone.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Whatever's clever. Whatever works.
Oh, wait, hold up.
Oh, that is
now
better.
It seems like it's muted.
No, you're good. Can you not hear me?
I can't hear you now.
Oh.
Which is weird.
I can hear you just fine.
Oh, there we go. No, I got you.
Okay.
Perfect.
Cool. Yeah, I can hear you. All right. Perfect. It does sound better. Okay, cool. So look, it's been a long time coming, been wanting to get you on, I know that your book had just came out. And so I wanted to delve into that a bit and a couple other things too, I guess, see where the conversation goes. But
yeah.
So what is the name of the book?
So the book is How to Make Online Dating Suck Less, Lessons from a Professional Catfish.
Got you. And we will link that up. It's on Amazon and all that shit, right?
Yep.
So
yep.
We'll link that up in the description and everything. So if anybody that wants to check it out, they can go take a look at it. And because I know it's dope because we've been working together for a couple of years now, and I'm always impressed. I shouldn't say always, but generally impressed.
Oh, good. Yeah, you can't give me too much praise. I might not think you're attractive.
Well, okay. So what? And now, for those that don't know, I did talk about it in the introduction and everything, but for those that don't know, Jamie's lane inside of modern flirting as a coach is in large part dating apps. And working with guys, getting their profiles together, making them look right and stuff like that. And, trying to get them as many matches and dates as they want to have. Right. So what was the outside of the obvious, but what was the prompting for writing the book?
So Jared comes to me like 3 years ago when we really just started modern flirting. And he's like, you're in charge of dating apps. And I'm like, what? I don't know. And it's funny, actually, little known fact. At first, I was really not into the idea. I was like, I don't fucking know. Like, I use dating apps as a chick, but he's like, well, why don't you just be me and talk to women? And I was like, I've never done that. And I don't know, figure it out. Turns out I'm fucking awesome at it. I hate to toot my own horn, but I'm going to toot my own horn. I actually think I'm probably one of the best, I swear, because I pick up dime pieces on dating apps. And it's not just for the looks, because I've helped guys in the program. I can't even tell you how, I mean, if you go on Discord right now, how many guys, oh, I used Jamie's line. I actually did this and it worked, and she didn't talk to me for 3 weeks. And now all of a sudden we're going on a date on Saturday, like whatever. So the amount of results that I get, it has given me so much more confidence in my abilities. And I think online dating gives me the rare opportunity to be a guy, right? Because then you got all the other guys, you're like, well, if you want to catch a fish, don't ask the fish, ask a fisherman, those type of dudes.
I got a good response
okay,
for that, by the way, not to cut you off.
I love it. I got to hear it. But, I'll be the catfish that's going to teach you how, because at the end of the day, I can be a guy on dating apps and lead to the date, open very funny, lead the conversation, get her interested, get her intrigued very easily, and show you how to do it.
Right.
In a way that you then create your own flavor. And it's been honestly such a joy. It's the best part of my job, is coming up with fun. And that's the other thing too. I'm a bit of a writer anyway. Mm-hmm. And so I get to, during my coaching calls with my guys, when I'm creating their profile, I don't use boilerplate prompts 90% of the time. I have them fill out a questionnaire. I learn more about them, and I create on the spot funny, witty, clever little things, little tidbits about themselves that are still clever enough, funny enough to get her intrigued to continue on reading the profile. And that's my favorite thing about my job.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. What's funny is I cite you as an example all the time. And I mean, I bet you there's not a week that goes by that I don't say 2 or 3 times to somebody where, like maybe I'm having a one-on-one, maybe in a class, maybe, like we just wrapped up a boot camp last weekend, so maybe face-to-face, whatever the case might be. Mm-hmm. And, different guys will say, something to me to the effect of, like, I don't know what to do when a girl is like really witty. And I'm like, okay, let's use Jamie for an example. You know what I mean?
I love that this is the example you're using. Yes.
But for real though, you know what I mean? Like you're quick-witted, and every now and again, like it's obviously it's not always, but every now and again you will encounter a girl that's very quick-witted. And I think sometimes that can be intimidating for guys,
yes. In my own dating life, absolutely.
Yeah, and I mean, like if a guy isn't particularly quick on his feet like that, he's caught off guard. Like, oh, I just got bested. You know what I mean? And so, like, maybe we'll have a conversation about that or whatever. I don't want to veer too far off of topic, I guess. But yeah, no, that's super dope. I like that protocol of finding out more about them and then coming up with something, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, because what I've learned too, especially from working with guys, is, there's a lot of dating coaches out there and we do too. We do this sometimes where we'll just give them scripts. Mm-hmm. And it's like, yeah, you can get the number. I can get you a number in, a few different text exchanges, right? Just by following the script. And what we found is that guys that use the scripts, it's like, okay, there's going to be, sorry, the dog. They're going to be, I'm so sorry. Give me 1 second. Let me get rid of this dog here. This dog is killing me. Move. Come on, Koa. Get out of here. Sorry about that. We can edit that part out. So when it comes to working with guys, what I've noticed is we can give them scripts, and we do with Modern Flirting. I mean, we can give you a script that'll get you a number in, however many 5, 6, 7 text message exchanges, and that's it, right?
Yeah.
But I have found that then the problem becomes, I met her and she doesn't feel a spark. I met her and it didn't really jive well. I met her and because there's no substance there. If you're just following a script, it's not you. Right. Baby, she's got to know what the product is. And if you're just lying, you might as well be on, what's it called? As seen on TV, crap that they sell, right? Right. You're not crap, baby. You a dime piece. So let's actually find out what the product is so we can properly market that product and see if she is someone that needs a product like yours. Yeah. And that's kind of where the basis of my coaching comes into play.
No doubt. So speaking of online dating scripts, I don't think I ever told you this before. Back in the day, like when Plenty of Fish was popping and OK Cupid was popping, like back in the day, right?
Back in the day, yes.
I used to kill it on it. Like absolutely murder it. Like I would I had a system where I had in my phone, it's like when smartphones first started coming out and stuff. So I could save like little files or whatever, right? And so in the quick memos, all I had to do was copy and paste. And I could I could have about 8 conversations going. All I had to look to see is where I was at in the conversation. And I'm telling you, probably 3/4 of the time, I would get the number. Now, did all those numbers translate? No. You know what I mean? But what I was doing was this. So I don't know how well, I mean, there might be some kind of adaptation these days for this. I don't know, but basically it kind of went along the lines of this. So I would send the first message, because back then you didn't have to match, right? Like it was just like, boom, here's a message, right? So I would rifle off this message that would say something to the effect of, hey, me and my buddy was just going over profiles here, and he was looking over my shoulder, and he was like, there's no way that girl's profile is real. And so we got a $20 bet riding on if your profile is real. And that would almost 95% of the time I'd get a response. Then I had something to follow that, whether they said whatever they said. I got so much feedback and data, I could compile this and make have messages for anything. I didn't have to even read their message. I just knew what was next. Bam, here's this. Bam, here's this. And within 5 or 6 messages, I would get the number. You know what I mean? So what do you, outside of, like you said, like the initial connection being there, not using a script, I got to believe that you're using some type of guideline though.
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, I love that opener. That's great. The thing though, that if you, like I said, the problem with following these scripts is because there's not a real, either commonality or something that you guys jive with or talk about, or some sort of funny made up scenario, which I'll get into in a second, that you guys are riffing off of, right? There's really nothing to call back to when you're actually meeting up with her. So you almost are starting from square one, but the initial spark of meeting her is already gone. So then it's almost like a spark deficit, if you will. It's like you almost need to revamp this or manufacture this new spark. Yeah. But you're not really going off of anything. So it's like you guys know each other, but not really. So one of the guidelines that I adhere to and teach is you want to open with something on her profile that this is why I love Hinge, by the way. Every guy out there, stop using Tinder. Bumble is kind of a crapshoot because women are not used to talking to guys online, so they're terrible at it. Except for me. But I am a guy on dating apps, so there's that. But when it comes to Hinge, I think Hinge, the platform just does it so right in the fact of giving you guys prompts so you can use those things to actually riff off of and open up that conversation. So in that, I have a formula called Scoot, where you either choose one, and you want to always make strong statements over asking questions. Because a lot of these conversations that you have online, it's like an interview. Yeah. And then all of a sudden you set up a date, and then it's like another interview, but in person. You're like, this is, what job am I getting? How much is the pay?
You got called in for the second interview.
Yeah, literally. I'm like, oh God, this is terrible. Because a lot of guys with the other issue that I run into is that a lot of guys, as soon as they get the match, they get so invested. I got the match. So they really assume that person is a real option. Whereas women, we don't really see you guys as a real viable option until we actually meet you, which is why it's so easy for us to ghost, because we have all this abundance that is in our, matches. Yeah. So in that, Hinge does it really well. And so when you get the conversation going, you want to at least get what I say 2 to 3 pieces of information out of her that she reveals about herself without being prompted. That is outside of on her profile. Right. So now you have a little bit more ammo to work with when you're meeting up with her.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll know a little bit more about her. So then when you bring up have that conversation in real life, it almost comes off as if you guys already know each other.
Yeah, I got
so
you.
So then it helps facilitate that spark.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys, and listen, having said that, I am not saying, and I cannot repeat this enough, I am not saying to spend days and days and days and weeks and weeks and weeks. And the fact, if you have to scroll up 3-4 times to show me your entire conversation, baby, that is way too long. Shorten that shit, right? I feel like the conversation length is almost a little bit of Goldilocks. There is a sweet spot. Yeah. Can't go too little, can't go too much. There's a sweet spot because you also want to save some room when you actually meet her.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Do you find that, like, when you say, well, like, what I guess what I'm asking is, what would that sweet spot be? You know?
So that sweet spot, like I said, it's kind of after she's revealed like 2-3 pieces of information. Okay, now you concede for the date, meaning that you bring up the idea of a date, hypothetical or real, to kind of get her feel for it. And then it goes into, okay, let's do it. So like, for example, a conversation that I had is she was talking about how she loves Target. And I was like, you girls in Target, it's like a secret society I don't even know about. Mm-hmm. Almost like you got to show me. And she goes, oh my God, I'd love to show you. And I was like, yes, followed by Costco samples, afterwards. Gotta love those samples. She's like, yes, absolutely. And all right, listen, this sounds like a plan. You free Thursday? Let's go out for drinks. See how it's not, because I'm not going to take her to Target for a first date, but it's just to get a feel for the idea that we're going to meet up. Yeah. Right. So she's already been like, yes, we got to do it. Yes, we got to do it. Okay, let's actually do a real date. And so it's a lot smoother of a transition, and it led to getting the number.
It almost sounds like a yes ladder to me.
That particular one, yes, that particular example does. And I do use yes ladders.
Yeah.
And so in that, yeah, I mean, there's lots of different ways of doing it. But again, you want to make it so it's not too short, where you're not doing like clip, funny joke, give me your number, let's do it. Because then you run the risk of her flaking out because she's like, wait, I don't even really know this guy, right? Or it's too long to where it's like, oh my God, when is this guy going to fucking ask me out? And when we do go out, it's like, we've already fucking talked about everything. Now what?
Right.
Right. So it's somewhere in between. And this is where the experience comes into play. And if you work with me, you'll start to notice a trend of your flavor, how you're doing it, what successes that you're getting, things to stop doing. And then we really hone on to what's working and get rid of the things that are not working. And that's going to be your flavor, your style, which I'm all about. Right. I'm not about copy and pasting. I'm about figuring out what works and what doesn't work for you. And let's hone in that skill.
I got you. I was watching a video yesterday. I really should send it to you. I almost posted it in Discord, but for those that don't know, Modern Flirting, we have a Discord and things like that. And it's a really great community and, something that you need to be a part of for sure. But that aside, I almost posted it on there, but it skews a little negative in the sense of like, now the guy even says, he's like, I'm not suggesting that you don't do online dating or anything like that. I'm just pointing out what I found, and then I was like, it skews a little on the negative. Maybe I'll just, hold off on that. But
what is the video saying?
Okay. So I
actually might agree with him.
I'm sure you would. It was a great video, well produced, all that stuff. But basically, what this guy did, because it's hard to find statistics on online dating, stats. He ran a simulation of 500 men and 500 women, all fake profiles. So 1,000 profiles altogether. All right. And he ran them over a litany of different platforms. And what he found was, and some of the stats that are out there, he applied this to his equations as well. But basically what he was saying is, the bottom line question, why are women getting so many matches and men getting so few? All right. Why are women getting so many likes and hearts and thumbs ups and whatevers and men getting so few? All right. And what he found is that there's, if I remember correctly, I think it was there's 3 times as many men as there are women on dating apps. So that's the first reason. Okay. So just by sheer numbers game, there's, just more men. So women are going to get more likes versus men not, just because there's fewer women. Right. So there's that. The second thing that he found was this, is that I believe it was something like the average woman gets something like 20 matches a week versus the average guy getting less than one. All right. Now I'm paraphrasing, the numbers might be off a bit or whatever, but it was a substantial difference, women getting something like 200 likes or hearts or whatever a week versus a guy getting 2. All right. And so now I'm looking through the comments, right? Just reading through the comments, and it's all like, yeah, that's bullshit. And it's pointless if you're a guy to be on there.
Life is unfair. Got it.
Right. So now, granted, women have their own separate, which he does break down in the video too. Women have their own separate set of issues with this as well, but we're not talking to women, we're talking to guys primarily. So we'll focus.
Yep.
So here's the thing. Now, in my mind, this is where my mind went. All right. When I was doing music and I was trying to do it professionally, all right, I would get all the time people be like, oh man, the odds are really stacked against you. Only very few people get record deals and, make a living off of doing music and things like that. Your chances aren't good. And I'd be like, no, my chances are great. Are you kidding me? My chances are phenomenal, because bottom line, for those that don't know, I used to do hip hop. 90% of rappers are lazy as fuck. You know what I mean? So you can, and I'm a hardworking dude. That would, no matter what I'm doing, you know what I mean? And so I'll work them all day long. If I wake up in the morning, I've outworked half of them, so, I'm going to outwork 90% of these people. So they're eliminated right off the rip. So you have the 10% that's left. Well, I'm more talented than 3/4 of them. So, you can eliminate the 3/4 of the top 10% out the mix. And then lastly, I'm willing to engage. I'm not too cool for school. I would walk around and talk to everybody at the venue. You know what I mean? And make sure that they knew me. I wasn't like, Prince or something, like, don't look me in the eyes if I walk by, you know what I mean? That kind of thing, get out and meet people and get to know them and take pictures and have fun with them and stuff like that. So my chances are great. You kidding me? And so that's the one thing that I see, because what that study that guy did was showing that for the most part, the top 15% of guys are getting like 80%. It's almost like the 80-20 principle, except it's 80-15. They're getting 80% of the attention from women online, right? So now, what does that top 15% mean? Does it mean necessarily aesthetics? Well, of course that helps, right? But, there's obvious other factors at play here, right? So what I'm driving at is this. Starting day one, I'm like, hey, shit, I'm gonna jump on Hinge. I'm gonna do this. What do I need to do to make sure that my profile stands out to be in that top 15%?
Yes. Okay. So first of all, your answer is my answer. I love this. So that's the first thing I say. Women, of course, women are getting most of the attention. Every time you go out, how many photos do you take of yourself?
Never.
0?
Never.
1. 0.
Right, literally
1.
never.
Literally never. Okay, welcome. You're a guy. So right off the jump, got that from Dale. Right off the jump, it is stacks are odds against you, because what is the first thing you see on online dating? Photos. What is the one thing men don't have that women have an abundance of? Photos.
Hold on, real quick.
The answer to your question,
real quick. During the last retreat, I took one picture, and that was of the Comedy Store.
Yep.
That was it. That was the only picture I took.
And if you see mine, go to my Instagram. I got a whole fucking Rolodex of all of the photos that we took. Right. So listen, this is an upper hand that women have had since the dawn of the internet, is we've been taking photos of ourselves. So not only do we have more photos, we've learned the angles, we've learned the lighting, we've learned what looks good on our bodies. We learned what faces to make, what faces to not make. We just have done fuck the women and men thing. We have a skill set that we have honed in over how long has the internet been out? 30 years, 10 years, 20 years,
Mid-90s.
20 years.
Really?
Yeah. Right. So we've had that since the dawn of the internet. You guys have not.
Mm-hmm.
So now is that a reason to be like, well, I guess I just can't do these things? No, that's very much not a reason. Now you got to learn how to do it. Good thing, it's mad fucking easy. It's mad easy. Do a photo shoot session with me. Hell, get a photographer. I have notes on that, which you can talk about later if you want. And I have a chapter on finding the right photographer, because also you don't want to make your photos look too posed. Yeah. Regardless, that is the stuff you need to work on, getting good photos, because I will put my career, my life, my, everything on the line right now to prove, to show you that bottom, 80% of men that is not getting matches, let me see their profiles. I can tell you in 2 seconds. Oh, because every photo you have is just of your chin in your car, chin up, of you in your car with sunglasses on, and I can't see your face, or it's a photo of you 20 years ago, or it's a photo of just your dog or your motorcycle, or it's a photo where you can't even see your face because you're rock climbing. Guys,
me holding the fish.
Yeah, honestly, but okay, listen, I actually don't give a shit about the fish pictures.
Okay.
If you love, I love people love to rag on that, but I got a better one that's even worse. That's way more ubiquitous than the fish picture. If you love fishing, and I love outdoor stuff as a girl, you think I'm going to be like, oh, he's really awesome, but he has a fish picture, so I'm not going to be into it. No, I'm going to be like, oh, this man has hobbies. I like that. Mm-hmm. Now, is every photo you're holding of dead animal and you have no expression on your face and with sunglasses and you're holding a hat where you can, okay, that's a problem. But if you looking cute in the sun with a fish and you smiling with a bunch of your boys, okay, that's a good photo. Now, obviously, we don't want to have group photos, but you know what I'm saying? Like, if it looks like you have a life, mm-hmm. That's good. It's not about the fish. It's about the quality. Now, people that have the fish picture, if they have sunglasses and a hat shading their entire face, and I don't really see what you look like, okay, now we have a problem.
Yeah.
But what's more ubiquitous than the fish picture, and every guy out here is going to be like, fuck, that's me, is you sitting in your truck or you sitting in your car and you take a selfie of your face in the driver's seat where it's literally your entire neck is cropped, like it's just cropped up from your neck up. and you see most of your car and you're either wearing sunglasses or you can't even see your face because you're wearing a hat and it's shading the whole thing. Every guy has that photo. And they're like, I don't understand. Why am I not getting matches? Well, who are you trying to match with? Girls with the lighting, girls with the angle, girls with that know exactly how to make themselves look good. Mm-hmm. So you just got to learn how to make yourself look good. Now, good thing you got your girlfriend, Jamie Date on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook. You can come message me and we can make an appointment. I can tell you exactly what photos work. Right? But until then, yeah, you're not going to get matches. Absolutely not. Because that is a con of online dating. It is more shallow. You absolutely right. There's a pro and con. So here's the other thing. We teach them modern flirting. There are 3 ways to meet women, right? 3 ways. Online dating, mm-hmm. cold approach, and social circle. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Right? And if you're like, what about work? That's social circle. That's just you out, right? It could be at work. It could be social, right?
Yeah.
Which a lot of guys don't meet girls at work. I'm sorry, I can point to 5 couples I know that have met through work. So you just got to play a little differently, a little careful, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, online dating. There are pros and cons to each one of those dating funnels. Mm-hmm. Okay. Cold approach. You get really good at it. You're going to be unstoppable. But but it's harder to do, right? It's hard to go up and approach girls. So a lot of guys don't do it. So that's the con. Right? With social circle, the pro is that it's easier to meet people because you're already vetted by the social group.
Right.
It's harder because you could run the risk of losing your job, getting in trouble with the social circle, all these other things. Online dating, the con is that it's shallower and it's tougher to build a spark. But the pro, why everyone uses it, is you could do it on the motherfucking toilet, which half y'all do. Don't even, right? So you can do it anywhere. And you get a lot of abundance just initially through the palm of your hand.
Right.
So you just got to accept that no one way of meeting girls is going to be 100% perfect, which is why you need to get better at each of them, which is what we teach at Modern Flirting, how to optimize every single one of those dating funnels.
Yeah, I tell guys like this, you want to get better with online dating, we'll talk to Jamie. But if they're asking me a direct question, you know, like, I'm like, look, get better with cold approach. And the reason being is because, okay, cool. Like, I've got this killer profile. Like, Jamie hooked it up for me. I got this just dope ass profile. It's getting matches left, right, and center. And okay, my text game is better because was working with Jamie. My text game is on point. But then you get to the date, you don't know how to even interact with a girl.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you did all that for nothing.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And this is what, and it's funny because I actually think that we were on a podcast with Jared.
Yeah.
And I think it was either you or him that asked, like, you know, what do you think is more important to learn, cold approach or online dating? And everyone thought I was going to say online dating because I'm the online dating person, but I said, no, cold approach. Yeah. Because I absolutely agree with you. Online dating is just a way for you to get more options to practice.
Right.
They're all valid. They're all equally valid. I just think that there's some work that needs to be done in person, but we're just doing the marketing, baby. It's like the sales and the marketing. Online dating is marketing, and a company needs both sales and marketing to be successful. Am I right or am I right? You know what I mean? So let's do both of them to get you the best availability to get the results that you're looking for. No
doubt. So, okay, we know what bad pictures are. And we know that we need good lighting. But say you're not the most photogenic guy in the world. Like me, I'm not photogenic at all. Like I look terrible in pictures. Every photo shoot I've ever done in my life, from the time I did music till, like, I don't know, a few months ago, like, literally out of 500 pictures, I've got like 8 that I'm like, meh.
Yeah,
these are the least terrible of the ones I've got.
You say that as if all guys have them except for you. You are every single guy I talk to. Right. That's always the excuse. I don't have a lot of photos, but you don't. We've already covered. Right. So in that, there are ways to make you look good. I don't care. And let me tell you something, and I'll flip it on you. How many times have you gone on a date with a girl that looks gorgeous, and then you see her and you're like, oh, fuck. I might have been
look good in her profile?
And then all of a sudden you meet her and she does not look as good as she does in her profile. It's happened a couple
of times.
It is possible. I've heard guys having that
experience a lot, but I've only encountered that maybe a handful of times.
Right. So, but it is possible to make an ugly person look good. Yep. Right. Yeah. 100%. So in that, let's do a little bit of that charm. I'm not trying to use all these crazy filters to make you look different like that. That I think should be illegal. But I will say this: there are ways that you can make you look a little bit more presentable with the lighting, with the clothes that you're wearing, with, you know what I'm saying? So for example, pictures that are good, right? You want to see chest up. Okay. No more with the neck up. I don't get that. Guys do it all the time. It's like guys and old people. That's the only photos they know how to take. It's from the exactly. If you guys can't see, Dale is literally. I know Dale is going real close to the camera. Exactly. Also, the way that the lens on your phone works, you don't want to go that close to your camera lens to begin with. It doesn't look like you. That is not how you look. If you've ever taken a selfie close up and you're like, I look like that, I look way different in the mirror, it's because of the way that our photo lens works on our phones. But regardless, so stop doing that. Chest up is where you want to go. No sunglasses and light that is looking towards your face. So like right now, this is why before we even started, I was like, I got to find a window. I got to move around this room. I moved the chair. So now I'm looking at the window so the light can shine into my face, because it's the only way you're going to look good. If you are taking a photo where the window's behind you, or if you are taking a photo where it is bright as, high noon and you got mad shadows, don't do that. Yeah. This is why if you go out, any photographer, that we're either going to go early morning or when it's starting to sunset. That's what they call magic hour, because the light isn't that strong. So you have to think, and people who are like, this is way too hard. I'm already here and they go, this is way too hard. I don't want to do it. Okay, then continue with the results that you're getting. Right. But this is what women have been doing, which is why we are getting more successful, because we do take the time to make sure our photos look good. Yeah. I got you. So again, to your point, it's the effort. A lot of guys just don't want to put in the effort. And it's not because they're lazy. It's because they just don't know the skill set. Right. Where women, we know the skill set. So we're not as lazy with it because we know how to do it real easy. The good news is it's easy to learn. You just got to do it. Yeah. So would you recommend like action shots? Like, okay, these are the activities, hobbies that I have. And this is me and my puppy. And this is the whatever, like me kind of me living my life. Right. So there are typically some photos that work more than others, right? So the first one is chest high. You want to look good with your face. So I call it like the GQ, if you will, right?
All right.
Where you're smiling. And honestly, I like it when you have a prop of some kind. So it almost looks like movement, right? And now I don't mean running, right? Because that's too much movement. But I mean literally like you're holding a beer and you're cheersing, right, to the camera.
Got you.
Or you're kind of leaning on something. Maybe you're leaning over a rail, looking over and smiling at the camera, right? So you're not just, because what I don't want, which I see a lot of other guys do, is like what I call like the awkward prom photo, where the mom is like, smile, and then you're just like frozen and you're just smiling, staring into the camera with an awkward smile. I don't like that. Yeah, exactly. So you want to do a little bit of movement. How can you use the things that are in your hand? It could be easy, as simple as adjusting the watch that's on while you're looking and smiling at the camera. So it doesn't look like you're so stoic with your body language, right?
I got you.
So that's one. The other one is what we call the awe factor, right? Where any photo that makes you look, any photo that makes the girl on the receiving end go, aw. So like, for example, you and the dog. Now, the dog photos, the dog selfies have become as ubiquitous, men have caught on. The dog photos have become as ubiquitous as the fish picture. So they'll just take a random selfie with the dog or their neighbor's dog or their friend's dog, whatever, the rental, I call it.
We get these pictures in at the pound.
Right, exactly. And then just give them back. Where they're just awkwardly smiling with the dog. Now, you don't want to do that because now every guy has that photo. So how to make you stand out? Little subtle things, right? So like one of my clients, he actually not even my client, he was a guy I dated briefly, and one of his photos, I actually use it on the thing. He has a matching shirt. He went on Amazon, got a matching shirt for his dog and him. And literally he took the selfie, but they're both wearing matching shirts. So it's hilarious. It's a very cute photo, right? It just makes you a little bit different, stand out a little bit more. So that's something real simple you can do. Another one, this is one Jared has, it gets so many hits, is he has one of those like baby harnesses that moms and dads wear to, wear their babies on them, strapped down. So he put his dog on it. And it's just him and his dog with, holding it. That one gets a lot, right? Another off factor, one of my clients that I actually swipe for, he gets, what's it called? He has a picture of him. He has triplets, nephews that are triplets, where he's feeding a bottle to all three of them with two arms and I think his like knee on one of them. And they're all watching TV. Okay. And that's like the cutest thing, because it makes a girl, oh my God, her ovaries, right? Caring for a dog or caring for your nieces or nephews or your kid. Right. So attractive, right? So being able to show off that side is really, really good. Another one, it would be like one, maybe two photos of you doing the activity that you love, but like rock climbing or volleyball, if you're showing off your body, doing that sort of thing instead of a gym selfie in the mirror where you're like, oh, look at me being buff. Instead of that, make the subject about the activity you're doing. You just happen to be shirtless. Yeah. Instead of you at the gym shirtless and you're like, look at me, I'm shirtless. That is a little bit too try hard. So you kind of mask it with the activity that you're doing instead. That's a really good one. Gotcha. Right? But you only want to do a couple of those because you can't really see your face. And the face is the reason we swipe right.
So no selfies.
No, I 99.999% of the time, no selfies. Okay. There have been a couple of instances where I'm like, you know what? You actually look really good here. The selfie is a good one. Yeah. And girls know that guys just don't typically have a lot of photos. So it's okay to have one or two. Okay. Actually, I would say one. All right. And make sure that the photo looks good. But if you can avoid it, because you want to use that real estate as showcasing a life that you have that is valuable enough to where people are taking photos of you. Gotcha. Because if you only have selfies, it shows you that you don't have anyone in your life. You don't have homegirls or friends that happen to take photos of you. Because when you have a lot of like homegirls in your life, you'll be out, you'll get a lot of photos. That's the one thing I've noticed about great pickup artists and great dating coaches, male dating coaches. The ones that have a lot of female friends like Cosmo and Jared, they typically have a lot of photos of themselves. Why? Because who takes photos? Girls. When they go out, who are they with? A bunch of fucking girls. So they're typically in a lot of photos. So they just have a lot of them. And so you want to create that lifestyle, that image of yourself to where you are worthy enough to have friends, guys, girls, whoever, that you're in situations where photos are taken of you. Yeah. Because it looks like you have a life. And a guy that has a life is very attractive.
I got you. Okay. What about the idea of social proof in your pictures, like having women in your pictures with you?
No, 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 no. The only times I like group photos is when it's with guys and girls. Because the reality is that if you have pictures of just girls, you're going to look like a playboy. You're going to look like a fuckboy. And girls, by and large, they don't want their reputation to be tied to a guy that is with a lot of girls, because what? That increases or diminishes our value as a woman. Diminishes, right? Opposite's true. If I have all pictures, all dudes on an online dating profile, guys are going to be like, this girl's a fucking hoe. Same thing with us. We're going to be like, this guy's a hoe, and we don't want our reputation to be. Now, opposite's true for social media. Utilizing your social media, yes, you can do all the social proof you want there.
Okay.
The only time I like group photos on online dating is if it looks like it's a fun group, guys and girls, and you're not just, again, stoically smiling, but you're like in the moment, you're cheersing, you're all like, woo, like at a music festival or something like that, where it's like fun. And you look, because that is something as a girl I look for. I want to make sure that this guy has friends, that he looks like he's not like a loner, like he has a life, because I want to see, I'm an extrovert. I have lots of friends. That is something that I value. I want to make sure that my guy also values that type of thing, because I don't want to date a homebody. Now, some women might view themselves opposite. Some women are like, listen, I want to be at home by 8 o'clock. I don't want to, I don't have a lot of, I like to be, right? And so therefore that guy can get away with just having just pictures of himself. But I always say maybe having like one photo where it is a fun group, because if that is your life, show it off.
I got you. Okay, let's move on to like profiles. I mean, I guess we're talking about profiles, but I mean, bios is what I meant to say. Now, I know every platform is a little bit different in the layout and things like that, but what are some good general principle guidelines to operate off of when crafting your bio?
So crafting your bio is, you want to keep, I don't like to keep it vague. I think guys are like, oh, I want an adventurous girl that loves to eat and, that's loyal and respects me or whatever. Not maybe respects me, but, that it's basically like all the most generic things that you can want. It's like, who doesn't want that? Right. Okay. So let's make it more niche. Shall we? Let's make it a little bit more like, what does a day in the life of a relationship that looks like that look like? Right. So in that, really trying to get more detail, really trying to get more niche, or things still, what I always like to do is silly things that you don't like. If you're all right now, listen, I'm not a sports fan, so I'm going to totally butcher this, but if you're a Buffalo Bills fan, who's the rival of them? Eagles, maybe? I don't know. I don't fucking know. Anyway, if you're a Buffalo Bills fan, and I don't know if they're the rivals, but and she, Eagles fans keep swipe left, LOL, with a laugh face, right? So it's almost like a playful little like, oh, I don't want this type of person. Right. Person that's not into tipping, like no tippers or doesn't treat the service staff correctly. Yeah. You know what I mean? Little things like that where you're showing almost like things that silly red flags. Right. That honestly tracks a little bit more, because the woman's gonna be like, oh, I'm not that person. So it's a little bit more exclusive, right? Gotcha. But if you're casting such a vague, wide net with the adventurous, love sushi and whatever, the most generic things ever, the girl's gonna be like, okay, well, that's fucking everybody. Right. Doesn't make me feel chosen or special. So let's make it a little bit more niche, shall we? I got you. Do you subscribe to the idea of it being long, like copy, or do you subscribe to it? No, again, it's one of those things where it's like a Goldilocks situation, right? But I feel like honestly, shorter one's the better. Okay. Because honestly, the other thing too is when you do it really long, it makes it seem to the woman like, wow, this guy is putting a lot of time and effort into this. He must not have very many options. He must be desperate. Interesting. That's an interesting take on that. Okay. Right. I mean, it makes sense. So a lot of guys, everyone hates making online dating profiles. So girls understand, especially men that have other options. Yeah. Like, this is what I always say. People are like, women don't know what they want. Women don't know what they want. Yes, we do. Here's what it is. We want a guy that can get other options, but still chooses to be with us. Still chooses to be with that one girl, right? Because a guy that can get other options has a life. A guy that can get other options has a career, is, takes pride in how he looks, take pride in where he lives. You know what I mean? That is a guy that has value, but he is still showcasing commitment and loyalty to one person. And that for the most part. Now, obviously, I'm also open to open relationships. I work with couples like that too, but it still goes within the same realm, right?
Okay.
So if a guy is so try hard on his dating profile, it may honestly makes it look like, wow, this guy, but a guy that has a lot of other options, he doesn't need to spend that much time on it.
Yeah.
So it is kind of this like shorter the better.
Yeah.
But also don't make it too vague to where you're not getting anything. And I will say, depending on your market, like where you're looking for women. So like girls that are in their early 20s, make it shorter.
Yeah, I got you.
Girls that are in their later 20s, mid to mid 30s, okay, they're starting to look at more committed relationships now.
Right.
Maybe make that a little bit longer.
Okay.
But even guys that are in 40, 50, 60 years old that I work with, I would still make it in the mid-range, right?
Okay.
Not too much, not too little.
Almost like less is more kind of a.
Exactly. Quality over quantity, baby. Quality over quantity.
Got you. Okay. So assuming, all right, I'm like, all right, that all sounds great. I got my pictures. My lighting is right. Oh, hey. You know, like,
You got it. Yeah.
I got it on lock. All right. And my bio, it's good. It's tight. Right. And so now I'm starting to get matches. All right. And when I match with somebody, what do you recommend as a general protocol in terms of when you reach out, how much you reach out? Should you double reach out if she doesn't respond? You know, like what's some of the protocol with the actual messaging end of it?
So without giving too much away, because this is my bread and butter here. So when it comes to you want to go earlier instead of later, right? You want to reach out because again, you get lost in the shuffle. But I will say sometimes if I don't have the mental capacity to think of something clever or something to say, I'll let it rest for a few hours, maybe a day or two, right? Because it's but I don't think what I don't want to happen is guys being like, oh, I don't want to come off too needy or available. So even though I have something to say back to this, I'm going to wait. Mm-hmm. Don't do that. Don't do that. You want to continue with that momentum, right? So if you have something clever, like for me, and this goes into double texting, if she doesn't answer back, should I respond? All of this, a great general message that I will give you when it comes to messaging strategy, I said this before, quality over quantity. If the quality of what you are saying is fun, funny, playful, not logical, like you're really adding value into the conversation, it's not going to matter how many times you text or text back, right? So like there are fun little funny one-liners that we teach at Modern Flirting that, you know, to reel her back in if she's gone cold, which happens honestly, even as a guy on dating apps, happens about 50% of the time. I'll have to say a line that reels her back. And so many guys, their ego gets in the way where they're like, she's not messaging me back. I'm never going to message her again. Me. Whereas if you say something clever and funny that doesn't blame or shame her for getting busy, having a life and not knowing to, or not remembering to respond back to you, after a couple of days, you can send her one of these one-liners or riff off of something on her profile or reopen her again. That is funny, creative, witty enough to where she's going to read that, laugh, and go, okay, this guy has a good sense of humor, trigger point for women. I want to respond back to him.
Yeah, I got you.
Right?
Okay.
And that is my general rule. Now, exactly how to do that, this is where you book a session with me and we can go over your text message and I can completely transform your texting game, which is my number one, like I said, bread and butter. But in that, there is a finesse to it. To where it does not come off needy. It doesn't matter if you double text. And I'll say this again, it doesn't matter if you double. Sometimes, bitch, I'll triple text because I know I'm that funny. Right. And I can riff off of the situation that she didn't respond. Amanda, how are we supposed to X, Y, and Z together, something on her profile, if you're not responding back? Cricket emoji. Right. Bitch, your dinner's getting cold. Maybe not bitch. Amanda, your dinner's getting cold. You know what I mean? And like funny things to say like that. To where she's like, oh, this guy's got a good sense of humor. Okay, I'll respond back to him. And 99% of the time, they're like, fuck, I'm sorry. I got this guy. No worries, girl. I'm better off in real life, too. Let me prove it to you. Were you free on Thursday?
Right. Okay.
Right?
Yeah. Okay, so what are some of the big missteps that you see that guys make when they're messaging. You know, like they think they're doing it right and it just doesn't land. And then they're like, oh, well, she's a bitch, or well, maybe my profile wasn't good enough.
I think I know where you're going.
Really what it was is just in the basic communication aspect where the problem lies.
Negging and teasing. Stop doing it. Stop. You stop that right now. Stop it. Like a little spray bottle. No. Guys, listen, this is the number one difference between gaming in real life and gaming online. Because gaming in real life, if you can learn how to tease correctly, negging, I actually have gone back and forth, and I don't think negging works 99% of the time. And I have a whole theory on why it used to work and why it doesn't now. But as far as negging and teasing online goes, there is so much room for miscommunication that it's not worth it. It almost never works. And the girl's gonna, if there's an opportunity for her to get offended, she will. Okay. So I honestly, with online dating specifically, I honestly go into the camp of be that cute guy, be that romantic guy, don't be sappy, right? Because you don't know this girl yet. So keep your thoughts and your hopes in check. But there is a way where you can playfully pretend that she's this, like, that you're the guy that she's been waiting for.
Right. Okay.
Be that person, right? And so if you go into that camp and say cute things, right? Little cute things like, I know who's going to be the brains in this relationship, talking about her, right? And so she says something smart like, oh, I love the way you think. I know who's going to be the brains in this relationship. Don't worry, I'll be the looks, right? Yeah. Something like that. That's, you just complimented her from being smart. You said you love the way that she thinks. Those are cute state pumps that isn't like, oh my God, you're so pretty. Oh my God, you're so beautiful, right? Yeah. That comes off clever and confident and not needy or desperate.
Gotcha. That's something like, you know me, like I can go as soon as somebody walks up to me, I've already got like 5 things I can crack on them about. You know what I mean? Like, right. Part of my natural disposition, you know? So
exactly.
That's something that, like, for me, is a bit of a challenge.
Yes, exactly. You gotta hold that tongue just a little bit. Now, when you're in person, you can totally let those things loose. Now, before you do it, you got to build rapport before you break rapport. I know I don't got to teach you, but when it comes to online, stay away from the teases, stay away from the negs, stay away from, just giving her a little bit of shit with her job or her thing, like things like that. Don't do it. That is a number one reason why guys come up to me like, I got, warned or blocked or, whatever on or kicked off on Hinge and Tinder. It's like, well, what did you do? I said this, I just made a joke about her family or made a joke about her job or made a joke about, how she doesn't look like a 10, or I've heard that one recently. I'm like, stop trying to neg on online dating. You're going to get blocked.
Right.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
Right.
How do you feel about bringing up anything sexual?
Only if she leads. Now you can hint at it. But honestly, 99% of the time, I think it's even cuter if she hints at it, that you almost do the role reversal and you're like, hey, listen, I don't put out on the first date. I don't hold hands until the 5th date. All right. You're going to be waiting. Yeah. Little things like that with a little side smirk emoji. Yeah. So she knows you're kidding, because I'm a huge believer in emojis. I think it's stupid that guys are like, oh, emojis are for girls. Not if you're doing them correctly. But either way, that almost makes you fall into cute guy. Like, because obviously she's going to know you're fucking kidding, because every guy wants to, X, Y, and Z. Right. But it makes it seem like you're a little bit more calibrated than the guy that's going to take that opportunity of her being sexual, or take that opportunity of you being, I call it the Michael Scott, the that's what she said. That thing that's kind of like very eye rolly. Yeah. Right. But there are ways, and this is one of the things that we teach, book a session, where I can teach you how to be sexual, how to escalate flirtation in a way that isn't going to get you in hot water later with her being offended, her being, whatever. Because the number one things girls don't want is to be slut shamed. Right. We don't want to be slut shamed. We don't want to be, because we see the way that guys talk about girls that they have sex with, like we're nothing, like we're trash, like we're things to be thrown away, hit and quit. Right. Right. So in that, how can you facilitate and advertise yourself not being that guy? Yeah. Making her feel safe, secure, to be a sexual entity, to be comfortable in her sexuality in a way that's going to be cute, funny, and breed that comfortability that she's going to want in that relationship when she meets you.
One time, quick story. So I matched with this girl, and we get to talking, and this was years ago. Like this is many years ago. But I matched with this girl, and I don't remember exactly how, but BDSM had came up in our text conversation, and I was talking about the show I was writing for, and like things related to that, and she's like, I'm super into that, but I've never actually tried it, but like from a fantasy standpoint, that's something I'm really into, and I'm like, oh,
baby, it's
on right here, like I got this on lock. So, so we start going down that road, like you being a dom, like what would you, if I'm your submissive, what would that look like, And so I'm like, well, this is what's going to happen. And he's like, oh, that's so hot. That's so hot. And I'm just like, oh, just reel it on in, And so now we never ended up actually meeting in person. She ended up like ghosting on me, and I was like, how did that happen? And so what I came to realize was this, because of the fact that this is my reality, but this is her fantasy. So in that, now if we meet, she has to live up to what we talk about, and she might not just be in the headspace, emotional space, whatever, to really actually, do the doings with that, And so I was like, all right, lesson learned. Like I can approach the topic, but I'm not gonna like go all in.
Listen, your reflection, what I would have done. Okay, so first of all, your reflection is spot on. You must be a dating coach. Second of all, so as a guy, I found this a lot with a lot of guys, especially girls. They want to be sexual, but then it's almost the pressure to live up to that. And what if I don't like him? What if I'm having second thoughts? He's going to get mad. He's going to be expecting this from me. Right. He's going to be wanting this. And I don't want to have to deal with an awkward conversation later or like get his hopes up. So I'm just going to not reach out anymore.
Right.
So, and I love that you brought this up, because a way that I maybe would have done this differently is, listen, like I would have maybe set the stage of expectation, reeled it back in, be like, listen, I love all of this for us. Let's shelf this and let's meet. Let's see if we vibe, and we can reopen this conversation at a later time.
Yeah, that would have been the right play. Unfortunately, in those days, I just didn't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. And it's all a learning curve, right? I will say this though, there are dating apps like Field. Where they are more sexually charged is the word. I don't know. More about the sexual experience, stuff. Right? Kingdom, BDSM, all that stuff. So it's a little bit more about that. And there are specific apps that are in those apps, sexual conversation happens a lot more easy, a lot more frequent. However, I've seen guys get in trouble with that because they're not really abreast in the kink world when it comes to consent, what that looks like to have the pre-talk, what it looks like to have aftercare, all of those things that we teach as far as how to have a good sub-dom relationship, what that entails, boundaries, things like that, because they're not ready, because they a lot of them watch maybe a little bit too much porn and think it's to their life, right? But in that, you have to also, I always say, like, when it comes to open relationships, when it comes to kink, BDSM, all these things, it's so sexy, all of that. It looks great on paper. You're like, fuck, I can fuck other people. I can do all that stuff. But to me, the reality of what it takes to have a successful relationship that looks like that is now you got to up the communication. Right. Now you have to up the standards of okay, how can I make this? How can I go outside of myself to make this other person feel comfortable and safe in this very vulnerable space? Right. So to me, it's the same hard. Yeah. Right. So now it's just, you can't, it's not just all of a sudden, oh, I can do all these kink things. And, a bunch of people on this podcast might download Field in just a second. But if you don't know what you're doing, it's very easy to get kicked off of that app. It's very easy to not be invited back. You know what I mean? So it's another whole element to this thing that makes everyone feel safe. And when you're doing it correctly, it is a beautiful thing. Beautiful thing.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. All right. Well, cool. We good?
I love it. Yeah.
All right, cool. Couple things before we hop off of here. What is the best place that somebody can reach out to you?
So the best place that you can reach out to me is either Jamie Dating Coach. So JAM as in Mary, IE, dating coach at gmail.com. That's my email. You can reach out to me through my TikTok or Instagram, hashtag Jamie Date, or hashtag at Jamie Date. And then Facebook, I think it's Jamie B Date. But either way, if you literally just search Jamie Date on Facebook through Google, I think I'm the first one that pops up. So go ahead and reach out to. I know, right? I'm fucking there can only be one. I'm still trying to find them and fight them. But anyway, so go ahead and reach out to me there, and then you can always get my book on Amazon, How to Make Online Dating Suck Less. Lessons from a Professional Catfish, and yeah, that's how you can reach out to me.
Cool. And here is the line about fish. All right, because you.
Oh, let me see it. Yes.
Right. So I'm circling way back. All right. So hey, you don't ask fish how to get caught.
Right.
That's under the presumption that the fish don't want to get caught. Right.
Right. Mm-hmm.
People aren't fish. People want to get caught by who they like. Right. You know what I mean? Like, no fish wants to get caught. So of course you're not.
Because they don't want to die, but you're not killing us, are you?
Right.
Right.
But that's the thing, it's like that's going under the presumption that that nobody wants to get caught. Well,
exactly. You're absolutely right. And the other thing too, and you bring up such a good point, because I've thought about this obviously since the dawn of time of me being a dating coach, is a lot of men who view that way, they have a sort of shame about approaching women, about gaming women, about flirting with women. And that comes out in the realm of having approach anxiety, not wanting to escalate, wanting to be a hermit and just play video games because they think women don't want to get caught.
Right.
When we do, baby,
right.
we want to be caught. We want to be found.
Right.
We want to be found. We want to be chosen, and we want to choose you.
Yeah.
We want to choose the right partner. So now it's asking, okay, how can I attract the right person, and how can that person find me? How can I open up myself to be found?
Right.
So of course you're going to want to ask. And I think dating coaches should be men and women, because you get, like, what I always say is this: good advice is good advice. Mm-hmm. I don't care what genitalia you have. If good advice the advice is coming out of your mouth, right, not your dick. Right. So either way, it's not going to matter where that is. Don't limit yourself. Why would you limit yourself on getting good advice regardless?
If you're in a theater that's on fire, do you care who's telling you that it's on fire and you need to get out?
Boom. That's a great analogy. I'm going to steal that one, actually.
All right. Well, you owe me $1. Yeah. Actually, 2, because you stole mine right off the jump.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. Right from the jump, baby. I always think about you when I said.
Oh, and I'm after I get off of here, I'm going to find that it's only like 7 minutes long, that video I was talking about. I'll find out. I'll text it over to you. So cool. Jamie, always a pleasure. It was great seeing you last weekend. And, hey guys, get the book, check her out, book a one-on-one. She'll set you straight, get your profile hooked up, and start getting those matches before the weekend is even over. All right. So that's what's up. Jamie, we'll talk to you soon, and appreciate you coming on.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Dale.
Peace.
Peace.